Excellent. And you're saying I can just plug this into my computer? Shit, it's USB-C. I don't have a lot of long USB-C cables. Shit. Wait, I know none of y'all care, but I heard something interesting. I think it was from Pluto when I was at Dodgeball with Schlatt's tournament. New controller firmware, yada yada. Apparently, the next iPhone that comes out is USB-C because Europe released a law that makes it to where all phones have to be USB-C, which made, Apple's like, okay, well, let's just make the whole phone USB-C. Let's not, distribute it differently in the West. Is that fake news or is that true? I love that. Absolutely love it. Not exactly, but sure. What happened? I'm curious. That's crazy. The law isn't in effect yet. Yeah, but they probably want to start sooner than later. Only in EU, not America. Yeah, but the iPhone itself, Apple looked at that and was like, you know what? If all of Europe will not be able to use the Apple, we have to make special phones differently for Europe, let's just change everything. So now they're not going to sell $80 iPhone cables, which is great and insane that they got away with it for so long. No, it's in 2 years, and they could go no port instead of USB-C. Well, the whole point is they can't sell $80 fucking cables. No port. What's that even? You mean like the wireless charging where you put them on a little pad or something? They also can't go no port? Oh, shit. Wait, you actually care about the amount of money you spent? Well, it's just stupid. Listen, you could be a billionaire, all right? And if I walk in and I see this bullshit that I have to pay $80 for a fucking cable because they're fucked, it's going to make me mad. I'm going to get mad. I'm going to write an angry email. As simple as that. An individual charger for one phone is fucking stupid. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, for Apple products. And then they charge an astronomical fuck ton amount of money. And the only other way you can buy them for a decent amount is people that build knockoffs that aren't as good because they can't make them exact because it's patented. So they have to fucking do it in a terrible shit way. Video on it. Thank you. I'd like to see this. Why is it so quiet? Hello? Is this my fault? My volume mixer. Oh, it's fucked. Hang on. Huh? My controller. It took all of my audio. You motherfucker. It's coming through my controller right now. Are you kidding me?
This latest round.
Son of a bitch. Bastard. I was like, I swear I kind of hear it. All right.
This version feels pretty firm. Apple is going to make a USB-C iPhone. A USB-C iPhone is finally confirmed. Except, is it actually? This, I've had to resist the urge to make a video about this for as long as this has been talked about.
I'm excited to see Apple.
But now there's actually something concrete to talk about. So let's address it. So it's been brewing for a while, but the background info is that the European Union has passed legislation requiring all phones and gadgets sold in the EU to have a USB-C port. It standardizes one port across everything, which includes, of course, the iPhone, which is currently not USB-C.
Yep.
And this passed with flying colors, by the way, 602 to 13. So then this past week, Joanna Stern of the Wall Street Journal was talking to some Apple people on stage about it. She had Apple's Craig Federighi and Greg Jaws, and she asked them about this ruling. And Jaws gives this, pretty winding, long-winded answer about how the government shouldn't be making these types of rules and creates a lot of e-waste potentially, but then eventually ends with, we don't want to, but we'll comply.
Obviously, we'll have to comply. We have no choice, as we do around the world, to comply to local laws.
And boom, of course, cue the headlines. Apple confirms the iPhone is getting USB-C. Apple says iPhones will finally get USB-C ports. Apple confirms iPhones will get USB Type-C charging. But he didn't actually say that. Again, let's keep in mind, let's remember, these are very well media trained Apple executives doing a public interview. They're being very careful with their words. They specifically said they will comply, not that they will make a USB-C iPhone. And there is a big difference. So you can actually pull up and read the document with the exact law that's been passed that they're all referring to, data.concilium.europa.eu. I'll link it below the like button if you want to check it out for yourself. It's very long, but on page 27, it gets into the exact details of what it's mandating as far as charging. So to save you the time, it basically says for these categories here, including smartphones, if a device is capable of being charged via wired charging, it shall have a USB-C port and be able to be charged by a USB-C.
Wait. Read that again. I'm stupid and dumb. I need to hear it
Including
twice.
smartphones. If a device is capable of being charged via wired charging, it shall have a USB-C port and be able to be charged by a USB-C cable. And the press release from the European Parliament says that this will be in effect by the end of the calendar year 2024. And I'm with Dave 2D on this one. Apple never specifically said that they will make a USB-C iPhone. They would never say that. But I also don't think they ever will. See, first of all, when they switched to Lightning on that iPhone 5 back in the day, it was genuinely an innovation. It was a much smaller port, which let them push plenty of power and data for the time, and that opened up way more room inside the phone than the outgoing ancient 30-pin could allow. So yes, people were mad for a few months about having to get a new charging cable, sure, but pretty quickly, everyone sort of just adopted and accepted Lightning for the iPhone. And then Apple made what's called the Made for iPhone program, or MFI, which basically means they get a cut of every certified Lightning accessory that anyone ever sells. So you want to make a Lightning accessory that plugs into the iPhone and have it be taken seriously at all? Well, you'll need to get it certified, and then it's certified MFI, made for iPhone, and that'll be 10% off the top of every unit straight to Apple. Thank you very much. Just this MFI program has made Apple millions and millions of dollars over the years thanks to the Lightning port. But now it's 2022. It's been almost a decade, and Lightning is kind of an old, outdated port at this point. We've moved on. We've gotten much better charging speeds and data speeds, and so Lightning kind of sucks now. So Apple has been working towards their next jump, but their next jump wasn't planned to be USB Type-C. Their next jump was planned to be to no port at all. Yeah, that's correct. They've been moving towards removing the port from the iPhone entirely. I have a whole video about this. I highly recommend watching it after this one. I'll make it the first link below. But yes, Apple would rather just get rid of the port entirely than switch to USB Type-C. I always wonder how they'll address it on stage. I imagine they'll have the little moment where they're like, how much do you really use the charging port on your phone? And it's taking up precious space inside the phone.
What was that? Hold on.
I have a whole video about this. I highly recommend watching.
It's going to be this. This is what it's going to be. It's going to be this fucking, what is this? Checking your fucking heartbeat doctor thing. And you're going to have to carry this cable around. And it's going to be $150. Fuck. It's so slow. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm so annoyed. Just add the port, man. Just add the, what the fuck?
Watching it after this one. I'll make it the first link below. But yes, Apple would rather just get rid of the port entirely than switch to USB Type-C. I always wonder how they'll address it on stage. I imagine they'll have the little moment where they're like, how much do you really use the charging port on your phone? And it's taking up precious space inside the phone. And hey, we've had the courage to invent this incredible new charging technology, MagSafe. Now, MagSafe MagSafe is fine. You know, in 2022, it's okay. It doesn't fix the slow data speed problem, but it does slap onto the back of the phone with magnets and charge at 15 watts. And I think Apple's wanted MagSafe to sort of grow and evolve a little bit faster than it has, and it kind of hasn't. But now, with this new hard-coded deadline imposed by the EU, they will have the next iPhone, the 2023 iPhone 15, and the next iPhone after that, the 2024 iPhone 16, to really push MagSafe before the next iPhone after the deadline, the iPhone 17, can go portless. So now it becomes very easy to see a world where Apple stops giving you a lightning cable with the newest iPhones, but just starts giving everyone just the MagSafe wireless charging puck in the box, and that's it. Just to get people used to wireless charging for 2 whole years before the transition is just like, yeah, this is how we charge all our phones now. Insofar as they are capable of being recharged via wired charging, USB Type-C. Oh, they'll comply. They'll comply all right. That was a smart reply. But yeah, if it doesn't charge via wired charging at all, then they don't need a USB-C port. But the iPhone isn't the only Lightning thing that Apple makes, by the way. There's some other accessories that they make that are also on this list. Apple's Magic Keyboard, the Magic Mouse, and AirPods all also charge with Lightning right now. So they will have now also until 2024 to get that transition going to either switch to USB-C or be portless. And they've also already kind of started that transition. You might have noticed that the new Apple TV Siri remote charges via USB-C this year instead of Lightning like it was previously. And of course, the new AirPods cases all charge via Lightning, but also have added MagSafe compatible wireless charging, and it would feel pretty easy for them to get rid of that Lightning port in the next 2 years. So the real question is, will MagSafe be advanced enough by then for people to not go insane? Well, will it actually, because the point is it should actually be better than Lightning. For them to move on and move forward from Lightning, it should be a technological advancement. And that's actually the point. And that gets us back to that original spiel that Jaws made that I skipped through earlier. Because as much as it is very much Apple PR, self-serving corporate talk, I actually agree with almost everything that he says there. Because what he's saying is basically that we're fine with the government making regulation with a positive end goal in mind, right? But they shouldn't be so prescriptive with exactly how to do that, technologically speaking. That part should be up to the engineers and the innovators at these companies to figure out. So if the government has a good idea in tech, which can happen sometimes,
it'll never be up to them.
Like, for example, wanting hearing impaired people to be able to use smartphones, then great, fine. Then let the companies actually figure out a way to make their phones compatible with hearing.
What I heard is it should be up to the engineers in the companies. I heard it should be up to the higher ups who are the boss of the engineers to make the engineers do stuff. No, it's not. It'll never be like that.
Hearing aids, and then work on that tech and make it better over time. That way everybody wins and the tech actually improves. So because they're mandating USB Type-C for all wired charging devices now, it can feel kind of like a win because Lightning kind of sucks and this is better. But we're already kind of pushing the envelope of USB Type-C. That's not exactly new either, and we're getting like 200-watt charging in smartphones now and super high fast data speeds. Eventually, in a couple years, we're going to move on to something even better than USB Type-C.
Really?
And then what? So I don't really want to hear about the environment and e-waste from Apple, of all people. Like, I get that a lot of people have Lightning cables, and that's what you love about Lightning. But that never stopped you from changing all the other stuff to USB Type-C. So really the behind-the-scenes problem is the government being so prescriptive as to require USB Type-C instead of just giving an overall goal like unified charging standards to reduce e-waste. And, maybe the law can update over time to keep up with the tech, but how much do you trust that to happen? So in conclusion, hey, I'll take a USB-C iPhone if that ends up being what happens out of this. But it's probably not going to be what happens. And again, we'll see, but it's like, it can feel like a win because USB-C is better than Lightning right now. But that's just in the short term. And I think in the long term, it's pretty clear Apple's got a lot of time to think about how they're going to get theirs. But hey, when wires wane, wireless will win. Thanks for watching.
Okay. So iPhone's not going to have USB-C. I thought I was going to go and be like, look, guys, I told you. But no. Damn it. I mean, I don't give a fuck. It's just like, it's annoying because now, like, I use an iPhone. I have an iPhone. And I use an iPhone because it's simpler. And I don't use my phone for much. I use it for Discord and texting and Twitter. I don't doubt, yeah, you can only get this app if you have an Android. I don't give a fuck about your app. I don't care. I don't use my phone for, honestly, I never use my phone for really anything besides Discord when I'm not home, which is so fucking rare. So the Android elitists are annoying as fuck. Yes, your phone's better, but I don't need it to be better. I need it to be simple. So I use an iPhone now that I've finished that spiel. I'm going to be really annoyed when I go to like a convention, because this happened at TwitchCon recently, and I forget to charge my phone and I have to leave in 15 minutes. I packed this stupid fucking heartbeat measuring massive dongle that wirelessly charges in my limited suitcase, and it's going to charge 5% of my phone in 15 minutes. But it's wireless. I don't care. It's slower. It's not even wireless. It's a magnet. That's going to annoy the fuck out of me. Like, the only way wireless will be better is, one, if it's the same speeds. So, okay, that's cool. Two, honestly, there's not even magnets. It literally wirelessly does, like, you know, energy through the air and then connects. I think you can actually do that with some stuff, but it's like within range and it's slow. There is some like Wi-Fi charging shit. It's crazy. Not in current tech. Some shit, we're going to get there, I think. They will sell faster wireless too. Pay laugh. It's horribly inefficient. Maybe it'll get there. Maybe the whole world will just have like, fuck, in 50 years when I'm almost dead, we'll be walking down the street and all the buildings will have these like solar panel looking things that, you know, and as you're just walking by, it's charging everything on you and it doesn't cause cancer. That would be ideal. Or it does. Oh, wow. So, I don't know. Okay, that was an interesting little watch. Why you're allowed to cheat in baseball. That could be fun. The new iPad is weird. Is this the same guy?
I've spent some time trying to understand this iPad. I've never been so confused by so many choices in one new product. So this is the new 10th generation baseline iPad, and it's in one of those bright new colors too. And this thing has a slightly new design, which is overall improved.
A large
Home button
phone
is gone. It's a pretty familiar rectangular shape now with flatter sides. The new colors are actually kind of saturated, which is neat. This one here is yellow, but there's also a pink and a blue on top of the safe bet silver. It's slightly less saturated than it looks on Apple's website, though. There's a Touch ID button up top, so you do get biometric unlocking, even though there's no home button. Thinner bezels, anyway, and a slightly larger 11-inch LCD screen up front. Landscape stereo speakers, a bump from an 8 to a 12-megapixel camera on the back, and an A14 Bionic chip inside. Not their newest, but it's a step up from the A13 Bionic that's in the 9th Gen iPad. So none of that is confusing. They're modernizing the baseline iPad. Great. But then that's where some of the weirdness starts. So first of all, upgrades to USB Type-C. Finally. Now, it's not Thunderbolt speeds or anything, but hey, you can now finally plug in USB-C flash drives. You can charge fast. You can even plug in an external display up to 4K 30Hz or 1080p 60Hz, which you were definitely not doing with a Lightning port before. I had been asking for USB-C. Getting it in the base iPad now is great. It's confusing, though, because they also announced that this iPad will support the first generation Apple Pencil, which, if you remember, it's Lightning. This was the pencil that infamously, hilariously plugged into the bottom of the old iPads to charge via that Lightning port. But if we're USB-C now, then that means, oh god, oh no, it's happening. This needs a USB-C to Lightning adapter
Fuckers.
to charge the pencil. I'm sure
No!
no one will ever lose this. It also comes in this separate piece of packaging. It doesn't come in the iPad box or in the Apple Pencil box. It's more packaging, which is a little more wasteful. But also, yeah, if you ever do lose it and need another one, $9. But I'm still just thinking, like, Apple, you made a new pencil, a second-gen pencil that's way better. The second-generation pencil snaps onto the side of the iPad Air or the iPad Pro with magnets and charges wirelessly. Where is that one here? I feel like I've been through every version of this in my head, but basically what I've come up with is some people would probably say that Apple knows that there are going to be groups of people, businesses, schools that have the older 9th generation iPad and they have pencils, and they're going to want to continue using those pencils when they upgrade to this new iPad. That's why they kept support for the old Apple Pencil. And to those people, I would say, but you make both. ¿Por qué no los dos? Why not both? So honestly, the real answer is most likely because this is the first ever iPad to move the webcam to that long side, the long bezel. Low-key, that might be the best change in this whole piece of hardware.
Among Us!
So now when you're on video calls or doing anything while looking at the camera, it'll actually look like you're looking at the camera instead of way off to the side like in every other iPad. So this is a welcome change. But now that means the spot that you'd normally slap on the second generation Apple Pencil with magnets and a cutout, well, that's now populated by webcam housing. And the other side has the smart pins, which I'll get to in a second. And then the top and the bottom are speakers. And apparently it would be too un-Apple-like to put it like off to the side, you know, asymmetrical like that or something, just to have space for the cutouts. Basically, Apple also came out with their new M2 iPad Pro at the same time as this. That also has a 12-megapixel ultra-wide webcam with center stage, just like this one, but it's not moved to the long side. It's still on that side spot, which leads me to believe that Apple views this as a direct compromise. You can either have the new Apple Pencil, and that'll charge at the top, or you can have the webcam on the long side. One or the other, but not both. And I guess we'll never see an iPad Pro with the webcam in the right spot. So for those who want a little bit more out of the baseline iPad, Apple has also dropped a brand new, completely redesigned two-piece Magic Keyboard folio for the iPad. I actually really like most of it. This first piece is just like a back plate that attaches to the iPad with magnets and then acts as just a kickstand, basically. Very surface, very useful. And then with the second piece, it's just a new keyboard with a new...
All right, I don't care anymore. Fuck iPads. Who the fuck buys iPads nowadays? I actually have no idea. They're just larger phone schools? Okay, that makes sense, actually. I actually have a my stepbrother, I guess. Wait, no. My sister married someone new. What would that make him? My brother-in-law. Fuck. Okay, yeah, my brother-in-law. Sorry, I got him confused. Just fucking hate family lingo. He was actually a teacher for his school. He was basically like, dude, I give up. He teaches, he teaches, and he says it's like, it's so brutal because the problem, and he told me about these things, kids are on their phones the whole time. The whole fucking time. But you can't take people's phones away because of school shooting, like, potential risks. Like, you take their phone and it's like they can't go to the cubby to get their phone, like all these different things. So they're on their phone the whole time. He can't get their attention. It's constant. And it's like, what do you do? NA problems? Yeah, you're right. Like, apparently, like, I think some mother, because parents, we all know how parents can be. Some kid, like, didn't get his phone in, like, a fire drill or something, and, like, the mom sued. I don't know. Something like that happened. Like, that one-time situation that happened now makes it to where every kid is on their phone, not paying attention in class the whole time. Dude, there weren't phones out when I was in school. Like there was one kid, I remember in 9th grade, I'm in high school. One kid had an iPhone, and we all huddled around him like, whoa. Like, that's where I'm at. I'm an old man. I remember the Razer came out. Not Razer like your keyboard and like I'm sponsored by. Like Razer the flip phone. That was out in middle school. Again, 7th grade. One kid had it. We're all sitting around in like, study hall before class starts. Like, whoa. And you know what he played? Fly Ribbon. Fly Ribbon. There's no internet to surf. So now I'm like, I think about what it's like in school. Now I don't understand. It's got to be crazy different. I don't know. Christ, how old are you? I'm 27. Wait, 28 or 20? I always get them confused. How old is Sodapoppin? I'm 28, man. I don't know. You start forgetting. Once you're like past 25, you're like, Doesn't reference Nokia brick. I had my first phone was a Rumor, RUMOR, Rumor phone. Maybe it'll come up. It's like this is my first phone. This thing, images. I never learned how to do the T9. What was it called? That like different way you had to talk with the. Called T9. I never learned how to do it. I just immediately went straight to the keyboard because I didn't get a phone until 9th grade. I was late. My parents didn't give me a phone for a very long time compared to everyone else I knew who had phones. No, I think I was in 10th grade when I got one. Yeah, it was a year. Yeah, 10th grade. So everyone got their phone, I want to say 8th grade, 7th grade. And if you had like a Razer, you were cool. If you had an iPhone in 9th grade, you were super cool. I had this, and it was for texting. And then my next phone was an Intrepid phone. I misspelled that. This thing. That was my second phone. And then my next phone. I don't know. I don't remember when. It might have been. I think that's when I finally iPhoned it up. I took this to college, by the way. This took me to college. And then my next phone I bought with streamer money, which had to have been an iPhone, I think. I had a guy I was in college with. Well, so I went to UTSA, which was, a college where everyone was my age. And then I went to, I basically stopped going and I wanted to stream more. And my compromise with my parents was I'll stream, but I still have to go to community college at least. So I went to community college for like half a year. And I had this French class with this 60-year-old man who was just taking college classes for fun because you get bored when you get that old, I guess. And this was a very grumpy, angry old man. And he was my partner in French class. We would like talk to each other, right? And because we had to like practice French. I don't remember anything about French, but I took the class. And he worked for Apple, actually. And all he'd do is bitch and complain about Apple and how much of a shitty company it is. And he'd talk to me in French. We're supposed to talk to each other to learn how to speak. He's just bitching about Apple. It's like, he's like, you don't even know. We've got like 5 generations lined up, ready to fucking ship out these new phones, and they won't let us do it because we have to make sure we release a new phone every year. We make the phones. We design them to break, so you buy another one. And I get it, But it's like after, the 6th week of being in class with this dude, eventually I'm just like, I tune him out. I don't care anymore. Like, I get it. Apple sucks. You work for them. You hate your life. You're in French class. You're 60. I don't know. I'm saying, I started tuning the fuck out. I can't listen anymore. Intent adolescence. I don't know what that word means. And I had an Apple phone too. I don't know. Same story over and over. Yeah, this reminds me of myself. I went on a massive rant. I don't remember what I was talking about. There's something going on. Something was happening. God of War? Not yet. I at least want to do my announcement first, which is in 15 minutes, and I'm very excited about it. It's not yet, so I need 15 minutes to pass the time.